Marvel is undoubtedly loved by millions of fans that they could easily spot Easter eggs and predict possibilities for the coming films. Some of these predictions were close to accurate, and some just flops. Here are a few of the biggest MCU predictions fans got completely wrong. So if you're an MCU fan, watch this video till the very end. This is 10 Zone. Hela is Lady Death. Thanos' desire to collect all of the Infinity Stones was fueled by his adoration for Lady Death in the initial Infinity Gauntlet comic storyline. Marvel enthusiasts were excited about the adaptation of the plot into Avengers' third and fourth films, wondering how the Lady Death's character would impact the movies. And Cate Blanchett's Hela from Thor Ragnarok was widely anticipated to be the character's film incarnation. This idea became widespread when Movie Hub revealed in an interview with Mark Ruffalo, where the actor hinted that Blanchett was in the 2 sequels of Avengers. Blanchett obviously did not show up in these Avenger films, let alone as the film adaptation of Lady Death. Well, this comic book character never did make an appearance in Infinity War or Endgame. Tony Stark in space. Jarvis once informed Tony Stark in the first Iron Man that he would improve on keeping the Iron Man suit from freezing while reaching the upper levels of the Earth's atmosphere, particularly if he's planning to visit space in the coming years. Although Stark journeyed to space at the end of the Avengers Infinity War, there was an ongoing conjecture that he would spend a substantial amount of time in outer space in Iron Man 3. When Screen Crush announced in January 2013 that Iron Man 3 toy line would feature an Iron Man armor intended for spaceflight, that's when these speculations got out of control. Unfortunately, in Iron Man 3, Tony Stark remained securely on Earth and never got to space like what fans predicted. The last Infinity Stone. There's been a lot of discussion about where the last Infinity Stone could be, the Soul Stone. The first 5 gems appeared in 4 distinct films in the franchise. Thus, it is expected that the final stone would be introduced in a film before Avengers Infinity War. One of the widespread belief was that Heimdall was in possession of the key to this exponentially powerful stone. The story suggested that Heimdall was the caretaker of the Soul Stone since his eyes had the same color as the gem. In addition, as one of his remarks in Thor: The Dark World alluded to his ability to see all souls. That was a bit questionable to some, but given that Heimdall was sent to return in Thor Ragnarok before Infinity War, it wasn't completely off of the possibility. All of this anticipation, however, did not confirm the way that fans wanted it to be. The SKRULLS as villains. There was a lot of anticipation before the premiere of the Avengers regarding which enemies our mightiest superheroes would face in their official launch. This fact prompted rumors that the SKRULLS would be their extraterrestrial opponents, with Screen Rant fueling the fire by claiming a year before the debut of the Avengers that the SKRULLS would be the film's principal antagonists. Because of their prevalence in comic books, and the idea that Avengers had always been known to involve cosmic challenges, these creatures felt right as enemies. As expected, all of the fan conjecture about SKRULLS appearing in the Avengers panned out to be false. The Chitauri are the invaders that our heroes encountered in the climax of the movie. Interestingly, this renders as among the few fan theories that isn't completely out of place with the film's reality, given that the Chitauri were originally the SKRULLS equivalent in the Ultimate Marvel comic book storyline. Peter Dinklage as Pip the Troll. The Avengers Infinity War cast is mostly made up of characters who have already appeared in other MCU films. Peter Dinklage, however, portrays a new character named Eitri, who's a blacksmith and ruler of the dwarves. Stormbreaker, Thor's Titan-killing axe, was created by Eitri. However, Dinklage's participation in the film was a secret until it was released in theaters. The popular assumption about his role in Infinity War was that he would play Pip the Troll, a well-known character from the initial Infinity Gauntlet comic book narrative. MovieWeb revealed pictures of Dinklage having his hair dyed red, identical to Pip's own hair, just as Infinity War was set to start shooting. Although it appeared to be an assurance of who Dinklage would portray in the MCU at first, it was later revealed to be unconnected. In reality, the character of Pip did not show up at all. A reference to Captain Marvel. One remark from Doctor Strange was popularly expected to establish a then-future Marvel character, according to fans. Before Strange's tragic car accident, we hear of a woman who was hit by lightning as he is on the phone, and it was generally assumed that this was a reference to Captain Marvel. When Doctor Strange director Scott Derrickson reacted to the possibility, fans' excitement went into a frenzy. Quote, "Remember that Brittany Murphy movie where she goes, 'I'll never tell'?" End quote, Dickerson stated when questioned by Entertainment Weekly if the statement was a reference to Carol Danvers. This enigmatic statement was perceived by some fans as affirmation that Captain Marvel's backstory had been eluded. Of course, since Captain Marvel took place in the 1990s, which is decades prior to Doctor Strange, this theory would be inconceivable. Nebula avoided death. Nebula left her Guardian of the Galaxy companions to chase Thanos, her cruel foster father, at the climax of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Because of this, most Marvel enthusiasts interpreted her solemn exit as a possible setup for the character's death, either in Infinity War or Endgame. The idea of Nebula dying in the Avenger films was so prevalent that Business Insider named her as being one of the characters most likely to get killed in Infinity War. All this prediction, however, turned out to be completely false. Despite the fact that a version of Nebula died in Endgame, the original Nebula survived both movies and even went on to become one of the main characters in the fourth Avengers movie. Thor's demise. In comparison to the first Avengers, the Avenger Age of Ultron was extensively advertised as a heavier project, with all the discussion of a serious background. It was just a short while until internet ideas pondered on which of the Avengers will perish in Age of Ultron. Thor, the God of Thunder, was the fans' option as to who would face death. Many MCU fans still believe that Thor's death at the hands of Ultron would suit within the movie's plot. Thor, on the other hand, had significantly less vital chores to do in the actual Age of Ultron film than to score a spectacular death scene. His notorious cave storyline became a laughingstock, and the Avenger who was killed turned out to be Quicksilver. Phil Coulson would return. The demise of Phil Coulson in The Avengers was one of the most heartbreaking scenes in the film, and it established the character's reputation among Marvel Cinematic Universe fans. With Coulson's resurrection for Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., speculation quickly shifted to how he would return to the film franchise. This was notably evident in the development of Avengers: Age of Ultron, which was packed with anticipation about how Coulson might reappear in the film. In terms of big-screen exploits, however, Joss Whedon, the writer-director of Age of Ultron, was adamant that Coulson would stay dead. Enthusiasts may have thought Age of Ultron was the ideal spot to resurrect Coulson, yet Whedon was far more certain that the character's death had to be irreversible in order for cinematic adventures to proceed. So what do you think of these predictions? For the next phase of MCU, why don't you give your predictions in that little box called the comment section below? Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.